School of Sales, which I have been involved for the last 14 years. Yes, my friend, 14 years. The time goes quickly when you enjoy every journey for sure. And coming live with my good friend and mentor, Brad Tononi. Brad, welcome to the Hi.
Hey, Prabin, good to be with you today. It was a good session this morning on how we create influence, wasn't it?
You bet, you bet. And there's always, the gold nuggets there. And couldn't help to share this, the gold message to our wider community. And thanks for, even in the last minute, thanks for just popping in. And just one of the things which, I thought that would be really valuable for our wider community to understand is how to be a trusted influencer in 2022, Brad.
One of the things we spoke about this morning was this whole idea that sales professionals sell and trusted advisors influence. And I think that's certainly true, isn't it? And in other words, when we create these relationships that go deeper and are able to provide long-term business partnerships that spin off into testimonials and referrals, aren't we really looking for, how we can influence the sale and also never ever appear as if we're pushy and trying to put it onto people, but really, as they say in marketing terms, pulling through the sale rather than pushing it out there. Yeah.
You bet, you bet. And more, as with the COVID, what's happening, obviously the clients or patients, if you like, here when we talk about healthcare, are very conscious of and they have a wider decision, as you always say. And here we also talked about the branding, personal brand. And would you mind sharing some ideas here to our viewers who are tuning in right now?
Yeah, when we talked about influence this morning, we talked about the idea to be a strategic influencer and to really understand selling when you're not selling in a lot of ways. It was sort of three things. One's the foundation stones of good influence. And I did touch upon Cialdini's book because it's still known as being one of the authoritative books in influence. And I think his principles are still, going to go on forever. But then we also talked about personal branding, how to create a great brand. And then thirdly, how we create the language of the sale. And I think language is all about influence in a lot of ways. So, if we go back to Cialdini's work for a second, I mean, things like reciprocity. I mean, it's so important, isn't it, in any good influencing? Is I do something for you, you do something back for me. If this feeling as if you have to really sort of repay in some ways or feel indebted to help the other person out, and reciprocity is a big part of that. But we also talked this morning about consistency, and we talked about the fact that even if you want to influence, being able to do it over and over again is so important, which leads us into the conversation around branding. And that is, how do we actually create a great personal brand? What are the accessories, if you like, of a great brand? And then the value of making sure that we're always consistently honoring that brand. A big part of it doesn't matter who we're talking to. And I know you do a lot of work in the healthcare industry. And let's face it, a lot of the healthcare professionals you work with are trusted advisors, authorities in what they do. How do they then market a great brand to market?
Yep, totally couldn't agree more. That's where we're looking right now, as we speak. Everyone is looking top positioning in the field or services. They want to be seen as an authority in the niche, whether that may be whatever that the niche might be, or they want to heard the voice in the industry and building that trust and credibility. Brad, there's no doubt. Mm.
A gentleman in the States called Nito Cobain, who is I guess, a great speaker. He still does a little bit of speaking, but he's the president of High Point University. Also the past president of the National Speakers Association and a great philanthropist as well. I remember seeing him speak in the US many years ago, and I thought to myself, wow, this guy speaks a lot of truth. And he was talking about the idea that we start with sort of brand awareness, moving up into brand preference, brand assistance, and then at the very top is this brand advocacy. And I think that that's a big part of personal branding is, if I want a digital specialist, I don't go, let's go and talk to digital specialist. I want Prabin, get Prabin, and that whole idea of that person being the authority is a key piece of how you might sell in the healthcare industry is, we are specialists in this area. And you and I have talked a lot of times about dental and a whole range of different parts of the healthcare industry about being that trusted professional. If you know someone there that can add value to my life, I want to know about it. Refer me to that person. I don't want to have to go looking out there trying to find someone when you know someone.
Absolutely. And that's where the trust is important. And these days, obviously, for the especially when you go back, as you mentioned about some dental specialists or surgeons, or here talk about expert in the field, which is over 10 years, they must need to position that well, isn't it, Brad? That's the challenge because with the social media, it's a good thing, but at the same time, I always use the term as Mickey Mouse. They can be anyone can be just can see as a leader. So the question here is to how can we or those people who are the leaders can position them well to be seen, heard, and trusted. Yeah.
And there's a lot of components to that. And I think the underpinning part of this whole conversation is what one of the gentlemen said this morning on the Friday School of Sales. And he asked me a question and he said, isn't it all about consistency? And it sure is. In other words, you can do things once really well. You can provide a wonderful service. You can be the trusted advisor. You can help people. You can ask the right questions, a whole range of things that go to influence in a personal brand. But if you don't continually do it, you will absolutely mess up your personal brand.
Yeah.
And this is what keeps us in business and building relationships and spin off business into referrals and introductions forever and ever and ever. So I guess we should probably just have a quick chat about a couple of these ideas around
Please.
personal brand. The first thing is it's a promise you make to market. In other words, it's a promise you are making to the prospects you work with, the customers, the advocates, the raving fans, if you like, the people who really love what you do. A brand promise is that you can rely on me. I'm consistently doing these things. I have a great reputation. But then we look at those things like attributes of a great brand in terms of our own personal attributes if we're selling a service or selling ourselves as a trusted advisor to market. Things like building rapport. I talked about this morning about nodding and in agreement. It sounds so simple, and yet people just don't do it. The benefit of a smile, looking interested, being genuinely interested. I know you know that my background is a Dale Carnegie instructor many, many years ago and how to win friends and influence people in their public speaking and leadership programs. And this goes back now, wow, 15 years or more. But we used to talk about a genuine interest. And Carnegie said in his book, How to Win Friends and Influence People, don't criticize, condemn, or complain. Give honest, sincere appreciation. All these things add up to building a trusted brand to market. So this whole idea of, these rapport builders, if you like, the way that we're able to show a genuine interest in others. And then there's the successories of a great brand. And what I mean by that is, the way that we hold ourselves. If I'm going to be talking on a Zoom presentation or live, you're pretty much going to see me the way I am. This is a package in terms of how I go to market. There is no other way on which I can present to you, but by presenting a certain trusted advisor position and package. That also might be the way that if I come and see you, I'm probably going to have my Mont Blanc pen. I'm probably going to have my compendium. My car is going to be washed. I'm going to make sure that I've got shiny shoes. All those little things we talked about this morning in terms of accessories of being a great brand to market. And then the other part of that, of course, is the language. How we engage people, ask the right questions, and make sure that we, are able to build that genuine interest as a personal brand.
Absolutely love it, Brad. What you just said there is one of the key, which I think we both believe so deeply here, is a personal brand, and that goes with a promise, brand promise. What does that brand promise? And as you and we know that obviously, going out in the market or bringing, like in healthcare here, bringing the patients is very, very easy. That's what we do. A lot, our team is dedicated that, but not bringing, but keeping the patients, but one step further, making them as a raving fan is a key, isn't it? That means you walk the talk literally. Is that right?
And I was going to say to you that one of the things that you and I have often talked about is my work around a trusted single enterprise.
Yeah.
And when we talk about being a trusted single enterprise, I think it's all about how do you become that brand as a business that people want to be involved in, both as an employee point of view, from being an employer of choice, but then also from a customer point of view. In business, we make a marketing promise in so many ways. We then have a sales expectation we have to then provide to the customer, and then a service delivery. And if you can't get those things in alignment, you're not going to have a trusted single enterprise. You've got to make that promise and go right through to the end of delivery at the coalface. Yeah.
Love it, love it, love it, Brad. I'm conscious with the time. This is a quick live stream in number of the social medias, including LinkedIn. And Chris, we see that couple of comments there. Thanks for tuning in. Is there any other final tips or anything for our viewers right there? Obviously, Friday afternoon. Anything you want to share it?
Well, if you want to move from being in business as a service provider, if you want to be a person, the front line in customer service, or a salesperson or a sales manager or a business owner who wants to take a more trusted advisor positioning and be more influential rather than push all the time, I think it's about how you swing that conversation around so that you're in the market really buying what you need rather than selling what you need. And I think that's a big part of it. I'm looking for clients that are of a certain type of client. Once you put it out there and you build it behind that with a reputation, then we start to create that scarcity factor, which means that people then are drawn to want to do business with you rather than push, please buy from you. Very big difference, Prabin, in terms of how we go to market.
Absolutely, absolutely, Brad. So I have also those viewers who are interested on what Brad says. This is, as I said, this is my 14 years in the institute. So if you would like to learn from the authorities and obviously with the Brad, all the trusted advisor selling methods, so reach out to him, brad@bradtonini.com. Thank you once again, Brad. It's great to have you in the quick Friday live show, and it's great to learn every single day.
That's a pleasure, Prabin. Have a great day.
You too. Thanks, man. Thank you, guys. I hope you enjoyed the quick fire-up session live cast. Again, it's all about your brand and the brand promise what you do. So no matter whatever the industry it is absolutely critical to position it and position as a seen, heard, and trusted. And if you are looking for the trusted digital experts or trusted advisor in digital, please reach out. Here is my email. Here we go. Praveen@viznetwork.com.au. And yeah, thanks for tuning in again. Like as you said, if you're looking for seen, heard, trusted for 2022, yes, nearly here now. Yeah, reach out to us and we'll see how we can be of value to you. Thanks again. Take care. Bye for now.